everybody. My name is Amy Eno, and this is the Thought Seeds podcast. It's our very first episode. Thank you so much for joining me as we dig into what God wants to teach us through His Word. First, a brief intro about me. I'm a wife, a mom of many, and a daughter of God. God has used these roles of mine to teach me much over the years, usually by way of refining fire. While I rarely feel up to the tasks He lays out for me, and I often feel wholly inadequate, He's proven faithful to grant the grace I need for the day and the moment I need it. Now, I consider myself the last person who'd be doing a podcast of any kind, and especially this. But in the past year, God has been doing a work in my heart and in my life. I had prayed and asked Him to let all of the experiences I've been walking through just to be used in some way to bring Him glory. I just want Him to let my life someday be a testimony to others of His faithfulness, His power, His love, and His mercy. And it just felt like I've just been in a waiting game, because I'm still walking through some of the situations I was praying about. I haven't felt like now was when He was calling me to come alongside anyone else to walk with them through their fires, but I asked the Lord, how long, Father, until you can use me? I feel like I'm stuck, waiting for these life situations to be resolved first. And you know what? That still small voice of the Spirit spoke in my heart, and I heard, I want to use you now. Why can't that happen? And I just kind of sat there and went, what? And so after much prayer, here we are. God took my doubts and He pulled me to my feet and set me up upon a rock. And that's what I want to talk about today. Doubt. We all doubt at times. Sometimes all the time. Our human nature is to second guess things, and God knows that. He says in Jeremiah 32:27, Behold, I am the Lord, the God of all flesh. Is anything too hard for me? I heard that verse in my daily Bible reading a few months ago, and it just leaped off the page at me. I wrote it on an index card, and I use it as a bookmark in my Bible. Is anything too hard for me? And the truth is, we often think, yes, Lord, this seems too hard for you. It's not changing. Or, I didn't get what I asked for, so God must not be able to do all He says He can do. I mean, there's other things that you might think when you don't get what you ask for when you're praying, or sometimes just existing. It does feel like maybe it is too hard for God. I mean, because that's how we feel sometimes. That's normal. And dear friend, He is the Lord. Let's stop right there for a minute. In the Bible, when we see Lord in all capital letters, the translators used this to signify the actual name of God, Yahweh. The Hebrew letters translate into English as YHWH, and this is also sometimes translated Jehovah. Without getting into a side study, which I would love to do, and I might do in a later podcast, the short explanation of Yahweh is that it means I am. So when God first proclaims to us, I am the Lord, the God of all flesh, He is reminding us that He is. That is a powerful and sometimes difficult to comprehend concept. He doesn't merely exist, He is. If God, the I am, and the creator of all things, all beings, everybody, everything, is reminding you of His godness, followed by asking, is anything too hard for me? We can be assured this is a question to make us think, not God doubting Himself. So why is it so hard to believe that? What kind of doubts do you have? You can tell me in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Often my own doubts are ones about myself, not necessarily about God. But that doesn't mean that you don't have doubts about God Himself. I'm just speaking to my own experiences. Most of the time, if I'm doubting, it's about things relating to myself. Like I mentioned earlier, I can frequently feel inadequate in life. As a wife, do I measure up? Am I being the kind of wife God wants me to be? Am I the kind of wife my husband is pleased with? And if he's not, is it because I'm inadequate and failing? Or is it because he has skewed ideals at the moment? Both? I don't know. Every single day, if I don't take it to God and the Father first and continually, I feel in some way like I'm failing as a parent, which is probably something many of you can relate to if you're a parent. I can doubt my ability to ever do better. Just those days where it's like, I'm never going to be better at this. I'm always going to just, I resolve in the morning, it's going to be a good day. The kids are going to obey. And even when they don't, I'm not going to lose it. I'm not going to get upset. And then inevitably, kids fight, kids don't obey. I get upset, and I'm like, I failed again. And that's just a small thing. There's other obviously huge challenges in parenting that I'm not going to address right now. I'm just talking about self-doubt. Will I ever be, I doubt, sometimes I doubt if I'll ever be better as a parent. There's many times I doubt my worth as a person. And Satan is all too happy to emphasize that. In fact, once I felt like this podcast is where God wanted me to start, immediately I was like bombarded by niggling doubts and thoughts of who do you think you are? And several other self-doubt mantras as well, like just who do I think I am? That someone would listen to me, and why, who cares? Who cares what you have to say? Just things that came to mind almost immediately. And I was like, oh my goodness, the devil is like, whoa. And I mean, maybe you doubt you'll ever be financially stable. You'll find the employment you need, or that you could, a job you could love. Maybe you have doubts and anxieties about material needs. Maybe they're plaguing you. Like maybe your car's on its last legs and you have no way to replace it, and if you don't have the car, you can't get to work. And you just doubt that that's going to even be taken care of. Maybe you're single and you doubt you'll ever find a spouse. Or maybe you're overweight and you doubt you'll ever be able to have a healthy body. Maybe you have health problems and you doubt they'll ever be better. Depression might be stalking you relentlessly and you just doubt you'll ever be free of it. There's many different doubts as there are people, and we know that. God has an answer for each of us. He promises in 2 Corinthians 12, 9 and 10. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses. This is the Apostle Paul talking, so this would be us talking. So the power of Christ may rest upon me. For the sake of Christ, then, I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions, and calamities. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Satan wants us to believe that we're worthless and alone in our fears. In Deuteronomy 31:6 we find, be strong and courageous. Do not fear or be in dread of them, for it is the Lord your God who goes with you. He will not leave you or forsake you. And in that verse, we see that capitalized Lord again. I am. That's where I'm going to leave this today. Friend, be strong and courageous. Do not fear or be in dread, because I am is with you. And he promises not to leave you or forsake you. Tomorrow, we'll be continuing to look at Jeremiah 32:27. And we're going to talk about doubt in the context of not doubting that God can do something, but doubting that he will do it. Thanks for listening today. Talk to me in the comments and let me know what you'd like to hear about in the future. You can follow Thought Seeds on Twitter and Instagram as well. Like me, those accounts are brand new to the podcast world. I am praying for each listener who God brings, and I appreciate your prayers as well. I'll see you back here tomorrow.